What's up everybody, Noisy here with the VoD review of nAts from Gambit playing the new agent Chamber on Fracture. Chamber is a Sentinel that has a similar playstyle to Killjoy or Cypher, and at the same time you can play him like Jett, which makes him one of my favorite agents as of now. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Radiant content creator. I also give Valorant coaching lessons and have coached over 50 players. Let me know who you would want me to review next and let's get right into the video. nAts is a Viper main, he's a Sentinel player. Doesn't have one main. Alright, I do this too. On pistol round, you buy 4 bullets. You can have 8 bullets in total in the sheriff. But on pistol round, I go for 4 bullets and low armor. Starts by scoping in, holds the angle. First of all, if you have a teammate with you, you just have to communicate like nAts did, that you're holding the right side, so your teammate can clear the left side. And now since the Viper is clearing right side, nAts is holding left side. And it checks behind, because you don't have any traps on pistol round.
There are 2 on side.
Puts a TP down.
One.
Puts the TP down there. I like that. So with Chamber, you have to be on the same level as the TP in order to do it. Let's say that nAts would put it here, up here, and then he would jump down from drop. He would not be able to use the TP because it's on a different height than him. And you can't use it when you're in the air. So if you jump and press your TP, it doesn't let you. But I'm assuming he put it down there towards sight in case of him going for the entry. Nice. But yeah, that's the power of the sheriff, to be honest. It's always a one-shot headshot with the Chamber's sheriff. One thing to consider whenever using his traps is that they're always visible. So that's the main difference between Chamber's traps and the Killjoy's alarm bot. His traps are always visible, so you need to hide them behind something, because if you put them out in the open, your opponent can just shoot them. Puts the TP down. And now his trap triggered behind, so now he knows that there's one behind that pushed from B. So dealing with that, nice. And the trap triggered on the other side. So that's another thing about Chamber's traps, by the way. You don't have to be in a certain range for them to work. Like Killjoy, they're global, so they work everywhere.
Opening it. Slow.
He still does have his TP. He put it down by Dish. He needs to put down the second one. But I guess he's just taking the fight right now because the enemy team is on a low bank. They don't have any money. Nice, nice. You can place his traps out in the open if you want to get early info. I like what nAts is doing. He makes sure to hide it from one side at least. He's gonna hide it here behind the rock, I think. Yeah. So if they push from B now, they won't see it until they actually make it past that one. And they're doing the same standard play on Dish here. There's a TP, there's one close. Headshots to Jett. Goes for the kill, nice.
I didn't want to, guys.
Can you come here?
I like this. The Sage is actually taking the zip line to heal nAts. That's nice. And they have 2 kills towards A now. So if I'm nAts' team, I would push A now. Because they have 2 kills. It could max be 1 more player here. Right now. And they're all probably rotating. And also, if you pay attention to the minimap, he has a trap here and he has a trap here. So nobody has pushed from B successfully. Which means that all of them have to be towards the spawn in the middle of the map right now. You have Jett kills 1 on the rotation. Breach is already rotated. And the last 2 have to be here. Yep, and there's the Reyna. And then we know where the last one is. Nice by the zipline. There. Nice. I think they're gonna try a B play now, it seemed like. That's a good trap for A. It gets the A rotation really early. And then this should get the A rotation from Dish. Another work in B. One thing that nAts' team has done so far, they've went with the Viper wall every single time. So if they Viper walled on A, they went on A. And now they're Viper walling on B, and now the enemy team should expect them to come B. Like they're not doing any sort of fakes, and they're using the Viper wall really early into the round. I like that the TP on the ground. Look at the range of the TP. So you can place the second TP down in the circle, right? So if you put it on the ground, you can put your secondary TP everywhere on B, and you can also put it in the enemy team spawn if you can make it there. Like it covers so much range, so it gives you so much options for the second one that you have to place down before you can actually teleport. It's actually really good. That's the Reyna. He gets the heal from the Sage. He still has his second TP that he needs to put down. Like one thing that nAts could do now, he could put the TP down and he could run in and try to find an entry. And if something goes wrong, he can TP out. You can kind of see the TP as like a mini Phoenix ult sometimes. It's just that if you really mess up, you're dead instead of respawning, right? But you can kind of see it that way. Oh, get breach ulted. Now it's a 4v2. We use the TP. That's a bad one though. He can't use it.
Close it now.
Nice. I like that trick. So if you go into the Viper smoke and then you shut it off, you have a slight, even though they did actually patch it, you don't really see the opponent before they can see you. But you still have a slight, like a tiny advantage. And they're just ready for it here. Because when the smoke is up, they have their crosshair around where the player could potentially be. So when the smoke goes off, you just instantly shoot. And it kind of has that like element of surprise to it. You see it there. Like the Jett isn't ready for it. Oh, that's a killjoy. I like that too, the Viper ult to go down. So now they can stay on drop and they can jump down without the enemy team knowing. But yeah, now... Oh, the Viper died, so they actually can't go down the drop without them. Oh! What is that timing?
Side last. On side.
So just by looking at the minimap, nAts knows that there's somebody around this TP right now. So he just does it strictly on timing because the enemy team want to get on site, they want to defuse. So he does his TP. And this is really scary because Chamber's TP or Chamber's escape is the fastest escape in the game right now. But after you TP, it takes so long to take your gun out. Look at how long it takes for Chamber to get his gun out here. It's really scary to make plays like this. It's worse than Euro teleport. But for some reason, the enemy Killjoy has no headset or something. Or maybe the Killjoy didn't realize Chamber's TP. So the little block that Chamber puts down on the ground, for the enemy team, it's red. And they can also shoot it. It breaks in about 1 to 2 bullets. You can also knife it. So they just ran past it without breaking it. And I guess the Killjoy didn't hear nAts use the TP. It's just like a timing thing, I guess. But yeah. I think it probably has to do with Chamber being a new agent. He's telling the Viper to hold the right side. So what nAts could do, for example, here with this teleport is that he could put one of his TPs down like on the left side here somewhere and then put the second one over here because it reaches all the way to the doorway. You can actually walk out a little bit and peek. So what he could potentially do is walk out, instantly peek left, take the shot, and then TP out if something bad happens. You need to see it as a Jett dash, but you need to plan. So the main difference between Chamber and Jett right now, Jett can dash whenever she wants. In any direction at any time. She doesn't have to plan it in any way, right? But Chamber, he has to plan his dash in a way. He has to put down 2 things on the ground before he can use his dash. So you just need to be a bit more strategic and understand where you actually want it. As Jett, you can be way more risky. You can run in because you can always dash, but it only gets you a certain distance. Chamber's TP actually gets you completely out to safety. So you just have to plan a little bit. Now Viper's holding it right, so Jett is coming from behind. So now the enemy Jett is adapting here. The Jett is smoking out the trap. And there she is. But you also hear that. So as long as you kind of hold your position at the start, even if somebody smokes your trap, you know that something is going on. And here, we use that TP. And he could be putting... So what nAts could do right now, he could put the second TP here or maybe here. And then he could peek aggressively from the drop instead. Just to get the TP out and do something.
He's out.
One thing that I'm noticing is that nAts is not using the second TP enough. Like, he's not putting down the second one, so he can't teleport out if something bad happens. When it comes to defending on Fracture, this is really important on all maps, but it's extra important on Fracture, is that you want to be peeking early. You need to get info, because on this map, you have 4 areas that you want to check. Here, you want to check the stairs, you want to check B main, you want to check dish, and then you want to check A main. So you want to check these 4 circles at the start. Ideally, by everyone on your team. Obviously, like Breach, Viper, Sage, they don't really have any big escapes, but they can still jiggle peek it just to get any sort of info. And as Chamber, you can put your second TP here, and you can peek left side of dish. If you don't see anything over here, then you can either decide to push towards B, depending on what your teammate on the other side sees, right? Because if you don't see anything by dish, and let's say your Breach player, or the player that plays towards A main doesn't spot anything here, then you can most likely assume that it is going to be B, so you can already start pushing. Or you can go through spawn if you want to be safe like that and go towards B, since your other player didn't see anything in A main. It's all about just getting early info and reading the enemy team in that way. On Fracture especially. You can do this on any map, but on Fracture it's extra important. And again, on pistol round, you go 4 bullets in the Sheriff and you go low armor. It's too good to not do.
But that's
And
how
that's
come.
one thing. In the setup phase, before the barrier goes down, if you TP somewhere, or if you want to reposition your teleports, it's completely fine because it only goes on a 3-second cooldown. So it's very generous in the setup time, so you can do a lot of cool things. But if you do this during a round, then it's on a 20-second cooldown. So yeah, right now you can just peek on the left side very aggressively because you have the TP. Exactly what I talked about. Jett is peeking A main. We don't see anything there. nAts peeked this at the start of the run. He doesn't see anything here. His teammate also called that it's B. So now he can push B and he can most likely win the round on his own here.
B a lot.
What the hell?
Next to left side.
No. Going
Smoke
back.
fading, they're gonna go in.
Oh, Brimstone dead.
I have
Spike down B.
One more.
And that's the spike too.
One more chamber.
And he does have his teleports now. So like here, I would do a teleport setup just so you have it, just for some sort of escape. Because he does have time. He took the spike, he knows it. He gets the orb to deny the enemy team.
I'm stunned.
We have one.
I would still try to put the TP down.
Stun?
Viper coming.
So like, I like everything here. I really like his positioning and how he's playing. I just can't stop thinking about the TP. It's the best tool that Chamber has. And now he's out of Sheriff bullets, but he still has a classic. And if he didn't get hit, he would have classic low armor still, which is why it's so damn good on the pistol round. It's insane. And still, not placing any teleports. Like, it's just like, it's the only thing stressing me out. Like, everything else, like, nAts is an amazing player, but I'm gonna give him a free pass here because Chamber is a new agent, you know?
30 seconds.
The new agent is testing the waters.
One enemy remaining.
You know, it's nAts. He doesn't even need the teleport, you know?
Chamber in the house.
Doesn't even need it.
So chat, what do you think about the chamber?
Okay, there we go. So, like, now he has a TP, he gets the first kill. He can still teleport out.
Can you hold?
And one thing that you can do here as well is, so if you get this kill, right, or if you don't see anything here, right here, and your teammates are telling you that it's B, right, you can use your TP, you get into spawn very fast. So you save yourself a lot of seconds on the B rotation.
Can you hold?
Because the thing is, if you don't TP as Chamber, if you take your TP back, you go on the 20-second cooldown. He has to go towards B right now. He wants to have his TP back and available. So he might as well use it now to TP into spawn and then take them back. Because if he runs and then takes them back, then it's back on a 20-second cooldown.
Gonna hold, that's it.
But we also don't know 100% if it's A or B right now, since Breach is fighting. That's the key thing to learn on Chamber.
I'm smoking.
Managing your teleports. And bringing them back at the right time, teleporting at the right time. Just getting maximum value out of it. Because it is, like I said, if you do it properly, it's a Jett dash on a 20-second cooldown. Essentially. So one thing that he can do with his TPs is he probably expects it to be B. So you could put down your TPs to peek on B, take an aggressive fight and then TP out. But one thing that nAts is doing here is that he has one TP on the A site and one TP in spawn. So he has a really fast rotation to A if it ends up being A. So that's one thing that you could do with Chamber. You can't TP between A to B because the range is too far. But you could have your teleport set up for a quick rotation. So, for example, if you think that they're gonna go B this round, you can just set up a TP on A site and a TP deep in spawn. And then you peek from spawn towards B. And then if it actually ends up being A, then you have like a really, really fast rotation with that TP. And also, if you look at this, he has a trap on drop and he has a trap in A main. And these two traps tell him that he has to go back. So if one of these traps trigger... Remember, when Chamber's trap goes off, it slows a big area, right? So one of them goes off, he goes to the TP, he TPs onto A site because he does have enough time because of the slow, and then he plays on A site and just anchors the site. So that's one way of using Chamber TPs too.
They're gonna flash and go in, by
But it looks like it's gonna be B now with Killjoy getting that kill.
Can you smoke? Can you smoke?
Open it, open it.
Tower 2. Tower 2.
Do you have flash for tower? Never mind, I guess.
I don't think it's worth to push just because of the slow.
One behind the
It's actually pushing to the slow. Oh my god.
Two tower, two tower. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, man.
One enemy
Okay.
remaining.
Like somehow the Sage just finds kills. Sage gets 2. He has a revive. Where are these Sages on my team? In ranked. Hello? Like can I get one of these on my team? Is that possible?
Actually, you want us?
GG.